As a kid, I was always sticking things in the campfire, melting bottles or aluminum cans, or trying to make little things out of clay and fire them. So I was drawn to the fire. And then I saw the blacksmiths at Colonial Williamsburg, and I saw a blacksmith demonstrate at the Catoctin Mountain Park in Maryland, and it just fascinated me. I'm Tom Latané. I've been a blacksmith and woodworker since I graduated high school in 1973. My wife and I have had the shop in Pepin, Wisconsin since 1983. Back when I got started doing things by hand, and I preferred the traditional hand methods, or historic hand methods, because of watching the blacksmiths at Colonial Williamsburg. I started out fumbling around by myself. The classes I've taken have mostly been from a retired blacksmith from Colonial Williamsburg, Peter Ross, and he focuses on all the historic 18th century hand techniques. It was made by Aaron Sergall. This is one I made. This one's another one by Nathan Robertson. This is one I made. This is one from the Kenneth Lynch collection, which came from factories that closed in Europe at the turn of the century, and then he had a catalog of tools he was disposing of. The other one with the face is another one I made. This anvil I bought in the 70s in Maryland, where I had a little shop in my parents' backyard. And this anvil I bought after moving here, and I was going to decide which I like better. Before I had a chance to decide, I had some shoulder problems, and a therapist actually came to the shop to watch me hammer and told me, well, you should have a high one for doing the small work, and you should have a lower one for doing the heavy work, so you get a more full extension of your hammering arm. So I kept them both. So I want the widest part to be that width. What I want to make is a medieval flint striker, and I'll be drawing the whole thing down to a taper, leaving a mast for the head. It's kind of a dragon shape. As the charcoal underneath burns up, I have to keep shoving more down in. Put more wood on top to become charcoal. The most common reaction to hearing that I'm a blacksmith is for people to say, oh, there's a dying art, or that's a forgotten trade. And it isn't. There's a national organization of blacksmiths that started in '73, about when I was getting interested, though I didn't know about it then. And that's called the Artist Blacksmiths Association of North America, ABANA for short. I can't really pick a favorite project. I enjoy doing locks and enjoy the smaller, more intricate type of work. Maybe one of the pieces I liked working on best, I had to make a key for a multi-bolt coffer that had 7 bolts in the lid, and the key went through the center of the lid and moved all 7 bolts. Typically they have a false keyhole in the front and a keyhole hidden on the top somewhere. I made 2 keys for this in case one were to get lost. So moving this piece pops up the cover for the real keyhole. So I made the coffee mill because I wanted to have one. So there's a burr inside that's a collar, and then another one that fits down inside that are all hand filed. The screw adjustments here change the placement of those so that you can get a finer grind. I've got it set really wide open so when people turn this, the teeth of the burrs aren't grinding against each other and wearing it out. And the drawer is held together by these little pieces here that have there's a tenon on the side that goes through the wall, and then a tenon on the bottom that goes to the bottom. After that's all put together, then you can see the brass that's been melted. It's put in the forge and the brass is melted, and then it's turned around so the brass runs and seals up the edges. I don't do knives much, but I've done a number of axes. This one is one I did in one of the classes where I taught this axe. I made this one. Instead of trimming the bottom of the axe to get the appropriate shape, there was a little extra metal, and I pulled it out and made a little scroll, and then did inlay of silver wire to ornament that one. I suppose the thing I like best about being a blacksmith is making such a change in a piece of metal. I still enjoy working with the fire, taking a piece of straight bar and making it thicker in some places and thinner in other places, and smashing it wider, and having an idea in my mind and then putting it into 3-dimension is very satisfying. I like producing something that looks so much like an old piece, whether it's a copy of an old piece or just in that style. If it looks like somebody other than me made it, then I'm really pleased with the result. Often you have to work on what you're most inspired to do, because that's what'll turn out the best.